good afternoon to everyone out in the Caribbean area. Those who from travel field who may somehow come in contact with our weather update this afternoon. We're just happy to have you watching and following the weather. I know you have been eager, looking around, wondering. I myself too, I thought today we were supposed to have something happening this morning, but somehow I disappeared and left everything behind. So here we are this afternoon, and here to present your weather update is Mr. Lenard, Josiah, meteorologist. What's happening out there? Two beautiful
Good afternoon, my
red
brother.
circles.
Yeah, I know. The dynamics of these systems are changing so rapidly, so you can understand and appreciate that at the time at which we are in right now, that we have to be on our P's and Q's. Much to talk about concerning this tropical depression number 13. Just in case you want to know, yes, there's a tropical depression number 14. I'm sharing my screen right now. That is closer to the Central American area. That particular tropical cyclone is not forecast to impact the Eastern Caribbean. Is forecast to head right out into the Gulf of Mexico and maybe impact the Gulf states. So that is something for them. For us right now, tropical depression number 13 continues to give us pause to cause, if you'd really want to say it that way, because the tropical depression has not strengthened. Not that we are saddened by that, but when we see that it has not strengthened and it has become disorganized in and of itself so close to the island chain, it gives us some reasons for concerns. And let me explain to you why. Because when we are tracking the system as we have been doing for the past couple of hours, and it has become disheveled, it means then that something has impacted the system, but the general environment continues to suggest that the general atmospheric conditions favor strengthening. So what we can have during the next couple of hours is that the center could reform someplace inside the general cloud mass. If it reforms further towards the north, then it will be good news. However, if it reforms further towards the south, then I'm going to be interjecting some bad news here as we discussed. Based upon the 5 p.m. position, this is what we have come up with respect to the current center. Based upon the current position, is forecast to continue to maintain a west-northwesterly heading just past towards the north of Barbuda on its way or towards the Florida Panhandle sometime during the course of next week. As you can see, that this area is forecast to pass sometime during the course of the evening hour on Friday, and by the time it gets to 2 a.m. Saturday morning, should be generally heading on its way out generally to the British Virgin Islands. But take a look at what we are saying here, that if this is the center, and I mark you, if this is the center, then it's very possible that the center can show up itself somewhere within this cone of uncertainty. As you can see, the cone of uncertainty also touches Barbuda, which means to say that the center can also show up if it is relocated further towards the south, closer to the island chain. Right now, most of the bad winds or the strong winds are located north of the center. So which means to say that is pretty good news for us. But I must give you, I don't want to give you false hope, because even though the winds are stronger out at sea, any shift towards the south can bring the center closer to Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Take a look at the satellite photograph right now as we speak. Here are the island chains. Let me see if I can highlight that for you quickly so that individuals can really see. These are the island chain right here as we speak. Or I just have a dark color. Let me just change that color quickly. These are the island chain right inside here. And as you can see, the center or this particular system is just so broad. The center that they are tracking is located someplace up here. someplace in this general location. And the forecast is for it to head off towards the west-northwest and pass just to the north of Barbuda and Antigua and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. If this is the center, good news. However, I just spoke to the National Hurricane Center this afternoon, and they are somewhat uncertain with respect to where the general center is located, but they are using this for continuity. As you can see that there is another swirl located someplace down here in the midst of heavier cloud mass. If the center reforms in this general location, then all what I said to you up here will definitely change. So therefore, as I speak to you, there is a measure of uncertainty. What will the system do in the next couple of hours will certainly be of interest to us in the Eastern Caribbean. I must let you know that an aircraft hunter will be investigating the area to, for them to determine a better fix. But for right now, there is some uncertainty with respect to whether or not the center will possibly reform in the area southeast of the island chain or maintain this center here towards the north. In any event, we are looking for clouds to spread over our Twin Island states sometime during the latter half of the afternoon tomorrow, going on into Saturday morning, at which time we could be having good rainfall with some gusty winds, and that is going to be the order of the day. But for right now, we're going to be monitoring this thing, and it will become clearer as the night progresses with respect to whether or not the aircraft finds a center that has relocated. My brother?
Oh, we're looking at this system out there, and it's causing a little concern because we're looking at less than 48 hours for
less than 48 hours.
Our neck of the woods, and we're still uncertain. This is becoming curious because you're not going into a system and sure of a part that you can say, here it is, and mischief. There's a great area of uncertainty that maybe cause us some bother. As I'm not sure whether it's going to strengthen or it's going to weaken. This is interesting.
And that's one of the painful parts of doing this reporting this afternoon, because of the fact that we were hoping that we could have latched onto a center that we did early this morning. Mark you, the National Hurricane Center continues to hold that the center is in this general location. But they have noticed that the system has become somewhat disorganized in the past few hours. As a matter of fact, the National Hurricane Center intimated to me that they're not even too sure whether or not there is a closed circulation. And that is a reason for the uncertainty. Whether or not there is a closed circulation, the plane will find it out later tonight and report back to us. If they do find a center, it's going to certainly impact the future track if the center has reformed, not necessarily where they have projected it, but if it has been reformed further towards the south. So I wish I was a bearer of better news, but we are going to keep on monitoring this system and bring the updates as they come to hand with respect to greater certainty where this area of tropical depression number 13 is likely to go. But by and large, we are forecasting increasing clouds and shower activity going on into Friday night and Saturday.
I wish that we had better news for our people this afternoon. It's good news still. It has not strengthened, but the idea that this thing is dancing around somewhat, as you indicated, you're not too, the science of it is kind of baffling this afternoon. You thought it would have been more refined and everything is right for it to function a particular way, but here comes it's doing something otherwise and perhaps untoward. And Gail begs a lot of questions around the system this afternoon. But one thing is for certain, you mentioned that it is a bearer of some good news when it comes to rain. And we have started to see some rain being favorable to us. And so can we look forward for that, even though it keeps a little away from us? Are we expecting to get more rain?
Yeah, we anticipate some showers, and the and the likelihood of us receiving between 1 to 3 inches of rainfall is great, and we are holding on to that particular prognosis, knowing that it can change. However, that's the forecast based upon the overall and the overall dimension of the system and the forecast track of the system. We're looking for increased shower activity over Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the Northeastern Caribbean. What we are not necessarily too certain about is the wind impacts. And those wind impacts could be nothing versus us receiving storm force winds. So depending on where the center shows up itself, whether or not it has reformed, it's going to make a huge impact with respect to the future track. So we're going to be monitoring it and bring you all the information as it comes to hand.
Okay, we're really happy for the news this afternoon. The fact that you brought us up to date with this weather system that's out there. We're keeping an eye on it because it's like a really good spin bowler out there. You have to keep your eyes on the ball if you're going to navigate it successfully. So I'm saying to all the people, I'm listening to our meteorologists, keep your eyes and your ears open and make sure that your hurricane plan is in place just to implement.
Right.
Any final word before you part, Mr. Josiah?
Oh, just keep on monitoring. For the storm to be passing during the day or during the evening or on Friday night and Saturday, we have tonight to monitor it. With respect to the aircraft going into the system, we will have greater information. Tomorrow morning, we will have greater information. Going on to tomorrow afternoon, we will also have greater information. So the public should not feel that they are uncertain with respect to the likely outcomes. We will be bringing you updates with respect to this and what is likely to take place from this particular system in the next few hours.
Much longer because I know you're really making a big sacrifice. But what it did not indicate to us today is the likelihood of it transitioning from a depression into a tropical storm.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's a great question, because even though it looks somewhat ragged for right now, based upon what I just saw with respect to the models, the environment which speaks to the outflow, the upper level support, is quite in place for it to intensify. And it is moving on into warmer waters with lighter shear. So there is a certain degree of confidence that we will see a tropical storm forming out of this area within the next 24 hours. How far north or how far south that's the uncertainty. So we're going to be monitoring it to see exactly when it transitions from a tropical depression into a tropical storm and to continue to track it from there. But for right now, we will be awaiting the aircraft going on into it for them to give us a more definite scenario with respect to where the center is and how strong it is.
Okay, as Mr. Josiah would say every afternoon, please follow your trusted weather provider. And
that's right.
You know that once you're in Antigua and Barbuda Met Services is what you should be following, because many of us try to follow the National Hurricane Center, but because we're not meteorologists, we're not able to divide really what is going on there and deduce what's going on. We need an expert to speak to us. So do your ears to our local radio and television station, and you will be in tune with up-to-date ball-by-ball information about this pending weather system that is approaching our area. So Josiah, thank you again this afternoon for being so comprehensive, so detailed. We are so happy for your service. May God continue to bless you. Have a wonderful evening as you bring the weather to the nation this evening.
And same to you, my brother. God's blessing.
Great.
Okay, right.
Yes,
okay,
good.